your daily dose of Donna. Happy Tuesday. It is Tuesday, November 19th. It is Josh's birthday. Todd is begrudgingly saying, "Happy birthday, Josh." He doesn't want to be here, but he's here because he's been forced to by Bronwyn. Happy birthday, Josh. Happy Tuesday to everyone that is here. I am so excited to be here because we have so many things that we're going to talk about. No shows to cover. These are my favorite kinds of days because it's a grab bag of fun on this lovely Tuesday. We have my recap from last night. I went to the American Reality TV Awards. That was an interesting evening. We're going to talk about Shannon Beador and John Janssen's lawsuit that was settled. And if you think you got a lot of information out of it, you're wrong. Okay. We have some new fights in the Bravo world. And some old fights that just got reignited. And of course, we've got some Diddy stuff because it's been a while. We had a Diddy drought. And there was another story that, of course, all roads lead back to Jeff Lewis. So let's get into it because, I can't wait. I can't wait. We got to talk about all of the things. It's your daily dose of Donna. I was just on TikTok, by the way. Welcome in. Welcome everyone who is new here. I just was on TikTok and I posted a TikTok last night and I actually brought it over to Instagram as well because it brought up some really good conversations. And I talked about a little bit what I spoke about yesterday. If you watched yesterday's show, and it was Bethany's feelings on Roni, right? And then I brought up, of course, Camille Grammer's feelings on Roni and just the general feeling of how housewives are so scared to say what they want to say because they're nervous about, all the things. And what's interesting was Kelly Ben-Simone popped up in my TikTok comments and she goes, "Well, it's because they don't know how to housewife anymore." And I thought to myself, Kelly Ben-Simone is schooling the new housewives on not knowing how to housewife. I've got to bring Todd into the conversation because Todd, if anyone knows how to housewife, that's Todd. Todd knows how to housewife right here. Chris is saying Jeff Lewis talked about it today. I did listen to Jeff Lewis today. Didn't listen to the whole episode, but I listened to Jeff. He had Luann and Crystal Minkoff on his show. I actually really like Crystal Minkoff as a radio star. I'm not sure about as a housewife. She got better towards the end, although her storylines I found were pretty boring. But Crystal's great on Jeff Lewis. I find her so funny as a guest on Jeff Lewis. Now, speaking of Jeff Lewis, I was hanging out last night with Annie. Shout out, Annie. Annie is Jeff Lewis's current social media person. She took the job over from the other people. There were a couple guys that worked on Jeff Lewis's show before. She does all his reels and stuff. She films and sits in there, and she was working with Sarah Fraser. So let's start off by talking, well, just to kind of finish the story about last night. About my TikToks. I can't tell you, multiple housewives. I won't name names because there's a reason that they didn't comment on the clips, but they came into my DMs saying, "I agree with you about the shows going too woke, about the shows being so scared to getting canceled, or like the people on the shows being so scared of getting canceled." So multiple more OG. I don't want to say OG. Like, no, we're not talking Ramona, Sonia, Luann. We're talking like middle of the road housewives. Those kinds of ladies agree with Camille in that. So that's also very interesting. Okay, so last night, the American Reality TV Awards, an event that I had no idea even existed. Remember, I'm new in this world as of last year. I've been in the entertainment space, but I have not been in the reality TV space. Lance was in the space. He's been in the reality TV space forever. So he knows this world, but I don't even think he knew about these awards. Like, I think this is something that, did you guys know about these awards? Like, who knew about these awards? Now, a couple of people in the space asked me, "Are you going?" in the last few weeks. And I was like, "No, I didn't even know it existed." But randomly, Lance sent me a text a few weeks ago or a week ago and said, "Hey, any interest in going to this?" And I said, "You know about this?" And he's like, "Well, the showrunner, the guy who's running the show of the American Reality TV Awards, like from a production standpoint, was or is the same guy that he works with on Dancing with the Stars, the showrunner on Dancing with the Stars." So he reached out to Lance and was like, "Any interest?" And so that's how we went. And I got a press pass just because of the show. Shout out Daily Dose of Donna. Thank you so much for coming in clutch. And I was able to go and get a press pass and go like behind the scenes and kind of be around that part. So it was at a theater called the Avalon. In the middle of Hollywood to go out on a Monday night. Let me tell you, I don't know how people do it. I can go out maybe on a Thursday, Friday, definitely Friday, Saturday. Monday night is a struggle. Like this was a toughie, but I did it. I pushed through. We got there. They had a whole like lobby situation with a bar. It was very crowded and it just got more and more crowded. I don't know who the majority of people were. Like the people that were hobnobbing around. I'm assuming most people were people in the industry, and I'm not talking talent. I'm saying like I'm assuming most people were agents, managers, producers, um, PR people. I did get to meet a lot of people that I knew or like see people that I knew. Of course, I saw Sarah Fraser first thing. So there was a step and repeat, and there were a couple of people that were doing red carpet interviews. Some I recognized, of course, right off the bat that I know very well. I saw Sarah Fraser, who I adore with all my heart. I love Sarah. I saw Ryan Bailey, who of course I know really well and love. Um, I saw a few others that I maybe recognized, but there were people from like the Mirror, like UK publications. And then I met a guy that was from Us Magazine that was doing more like audio recordings just so he could print it up. There was a lot of photographers. It was very tight. It was very tight squeezy. But Sarah also was working with a PR rep, Sarah Fruman, who I've met online, and she's a doser and I love her. And so we were chatting and we were hanging out and talking the whole time. And then of course I was talking with Annie, who was there, and she was working with, she takes individual clients. Annie, if you don't remember, yes, she used to work with Heather McDonald. There was a big falling out. There was a lot of drama, not getting so into that here. But if you know, and you can Google and you can like Facebook group drama, all of that. And now she works with Jeff. And so she was there working with Sarah. She's great. I love Annie. I find her wonderful and sweet and great. So I saw a lot of cool people. I mean, Lance knew a few people behind the scenes. He was chatting with some crew guys and just people that were there. I got to see people from, oh my gosh, like show me all the reality stars. And the only people that I give a shit about are like the Big Brother stars. I was so excited about the Big Brother people. When I saw Angela, I was like, oh my gosh, if you guys watched this last season of Big Brother, Angela from Big Brother was the most iconic character ever on a Big Brother season before. She was the blonde woman that was wild. She was like just an emotional, nutty character. But a bunch of the Big Brother people. We had Tucker and Rubina. We had Chelsea from Big Brother. That was fun. Oh, speaking of Jeff, and of course, Heather was there. Heather McDonald was the host. She did like a little bit of press. I saw her for just like 2 seconds doing press. I did see her husband. I saw Brandy and Julie, just like in the bar area briefly. Some other people I saw like all these. Okay, so the way that the press line works is they give you, I have Annie gave me the sheet of what it looks like, but basically what it is they give you I'm giving you behind the scenes. This is like such a Patreon conversation normally, but whatever, who cares? They give you like a sheet of I didn't take a screenshot. I have it in a text with Annie, but they give you kind of like a picture of all the celebrities that are going to be there on the red carpet and their name and why they're there. So for example, a picture of who they are, winner of the mole, for example, winner of Big Brother, um finalist on American Ninja Warrior. Like, and it's really, really random. This is the American Reality TV Awards. So you're going to get people in there that are from Great British Baking Show or the YouTube Ninja families. I mean, Lance and I were sitting next to the contestants from the Squid Game challenge. Like it was so so random and out of pocket. There were like a ton of, women from drag queen from RuPaul's drag race. Like you could not pick the most random people in the world. Like there were literally a family of people doing backflips on the stage. Then there was also AJ and Howie from the Backstreet Boys and JoJo Siwa. And then of course we had Tamra Judge and Kendra from Girls Next Door. And there was a ton of screaming for people on a show called Opportunity Knocks on PBS. Never heard of it, but now I feel like I have to watch it because people are obsessed with it in the audience. People were losing their minds screaming over it. Lots of people from The Circle, lots of people from I didn't see anyone from Love is Blind. Now that I'm not okay with. But tons of Big Brother, like I said, lots of Big Brother, some Survivor people, Amazing Race people. We had Selling Sunset, Chelsea, and her areolas. And I was like, clap back to my sister wives recap yesterday with the areola. I mean, Chelsea from Selling Sunset and her areolas. And I'll post it. I posted it in my stories on Instagram, but I'll do a post later for on my Instagram feed. But like Chelsea and her areolas, and I was sitting upstairs, like I was in the front row upstairs. They had tables up there, and I was like knocked out with her areolas. Lance goes, "That can't be it. That can't be real." And I was like, "I don't know. It's pretty shocking." No Leah, no one from Love Island that I saw. No one from Love is Blind. Yeah, they should get into like the love shows. I didn't see a lot of love shows. I didn't see anyone from Bachelor that I know. I mean, I'm sure there were people from those shows, but like I don't watch a lot of those reality shows to recognize. Oh, Todd is shaking his head. He's pissed. He's like, enough. Move on to the next story. Um, Kale from Teen Mom was there. Lots of people need stylists. I'm not saying who. I'm just saying in general. Let's see. Let's think who else was there that was exciting or interesting. Omarosa. Omarosa was seated with Tamra. There was a table of Tamra Judge, Eddie Judge, and Omarosa, and I think it's her husband. I'm like, that's that's quite a table. I know Alex Baskin was there. Sally Ann Salsano or whatever her name is, the executive producer of Jersey Shore was there. And she's like she's a short woman, like a Snooki. She's like a Snooki. She won an award. Um, of course, my favorite was really just hanging out with the podcasters. I loved hanging out with Kate and Ryan and Jenny Blaze from Bravo and Blaze and Sarah Fraser. Like, those are my people. Tamra, I adore. I know that you guys are not going to love that, but I really like Tamra as a person. She's so sweet. And it was nice to see her. I did say to Eddie, this is so me. And I have it on video because Lance filmed it like from the upstairs balcony. He filmed me going down and saying hi. And he saw me go to Eddie, and like you see me saying it from a distance, but I was like, Eddie, your teeth are whiter than anyone in this room. And they really are. Okay. Eddie Judge's teeth really are banging. And I did go to Eddie and I said, Eddie, Eddie, are you guys still doing the eds? I said, I've known Edwin and Teddy for years and years and years. Are you and Edwin still doing the eds? And he goes, yeah. And I go, are you going to do any other content other than your waxing content? And they died laughing. Because the last time I saw a clip of the eds, it was about Edwin and Eddie talking about their grooming routines and how they're waxing their eyebrows. And Eddie is so nice. He was actually so sweet. He was like, well, I mean, I hang out with all these men and they have hair growing out of all their noses and their ears. And like, I don't want to do that. I actually thought he was really cool and down to earth and friendly. There's a lot of rumors about like Eddie being so annoyed with Tamara because of what you see on the show, but I did not get that vibe in any capacity whatsoever of hanging out with him in real life. Sorry, I keep hitting Todd and he seems so disapproving. If anyone's disapproving of their wife, it's not Eddie and Tamara from what I'm seeing in real life. It's this guy. It's the Todd father. Now, a lot of you guys were asking me about Heather McDonald during her opening monologue because when I was filming it, you do see her husband. And a lot of you guys were asking, why is he not looking at Heather? And I did notice that too. And I'd be curious if Heather ever wanted to have a conversation with me, and I would be very open to it. No, I didn't talk to Heather, but it wasn't it wasn't by design. It was just, we didn't cross paths. But I would be so curious to know why her husband never looked at her when she was on stage behind. Like he was in the front row and his back was to her the whole time. He was laughing. He was clapping like he was engaged, but he wasn't turned around. I was so interested. Dying to know. No one from Love Island, Heather. Okay, so that's kind of like the behind the scenes. And of course, if anything else jumps out at me, I'll let you know. Hottest reality star I saw was Gleb. No question, Gleb from Dancing with the Stars. Man, oh man. And I said it in front of Lance because Lance and Gleb are friends. So when Lance was upstairs already and I was downstairs like schmoozing, and Lance was like, I'm just going to go and sit for a bit before the show started because it was like enough is enough. And I texted him. I was like, Gleb is here. He's like, I'm coming down. He came down. He's like, Gleb. And they're all chatting. And I was like, Lance, this is the hottest man. I couldn't help it. So good looking. So good looking. And some other guy. Actually, let me ask you guys who this guy is that I took a picture of or a video of him. Maybe you guys are going to recognize who he is. Who is he? If you're watching on the video, you should let me know. I have no idea who that is. Very good looking, very white teeth. Oh, there's Heather in the background. Actually, there's Heather in the background. You'll see her in the video. You see that? That's Heather in the background. Very, very cute. Heather looked great. I have to say, she looks great. Josh says daddy. That's his daddy. Josh, after it's your birthday, so maybe he is your daddy. Yeah, it's you. He looks like a real estate agent, but he's not. If he was a real estate agent, I would know because I watch all these shows. Okay. Yeah, none of us know who he is. There was a lot of people like that. And this is what I notice about these shows. It's like everyone looks the same. Everyone looks recognizable. You feel like you know all of them, but no one knows anyone. Okay. So let's move on. Oh, by the way, if you want to watch the show to see what I watched in real life, it will air on November 29th. And I think it airs like on YouTube and Tubi and Pluto and Schmuto and Fruto and all of those. So I'll find out more and we'll get into it. All right, let's get into the stories. And there's a lot of stories. Ruko. Thank you, Candace. I knew it was some Uko, Shuko, Muko, Duko. Okay. Before we get into the stories, of course, I have to mention some sponsors. The first story is brought to you by HONEYLOVE. As the holidays roll in, there's one thing I am extra grateful for and thankful for, and that is HONEYLOVE. My boobs last night, not Candace, not Chelsea's from Selling Sunset, but my boobs were sponsored by HoneyLove. If you've ever suffered through an uncomfortable bra or shapewear, you know exactly what I mean. HoneyLove has totally revolutionized the game, making comfort and style their top priorities. Forget painful underwire and thick, hot fabrics. HoneyLove's bras use supportive bonding, so you get all the lift without the discomfort of underwires. And their fabric is so soft, you'll never want to take it off. Their shapewear is equally impressive, using targeted compression technology that feels effective, not suffocating. You'll instantly see and feel the difference. Trust me, this is shapewear you can actually breathe in. So I wore it last night. I love those bras. I wore something that like really honestly kept me feeling comfortable, and it didn't let me feel like my boobs were just like pointy. You know what I mean? Like that to me is a insecurity of mine whenever I'm wearing something that's not loose. Right now I'm wearing a sports bra, so I feel comfortable and like held in. But you know, when you're wearing kind of something loose and you're not wearing a bra, it feels like a little bit of like a dagger, dagger, dagger. And here's the best part: for November, only HoneyLove is offering up to 50% off site-wide. It's a perfect time to treat yourself to a gift of comfort. Visit honeylove.com/daily dose to shop this incredible sale. And when they ask where you heard about them, please let them know we sent you. honeylove.com/daily dose for your discount. Thanks, HoneyLove. Okay. I thought this was an interesting story today. The Blonde Ambition Tour. No, I'm not talking about Madonna. Have you guys heard about the Blonde Ambition Tour and why Jeff Lewis is related? One more reason why Jeff Lewis is a shit stirrer. You know, Bryn from Real Housewives of New York loves to say, I stir the pot. I stir. No, you don't stir the pot. Jeff Lewis stirs the pot. He really does. Jeff Lewis had Dorinda and Marge on his show last week when he was in New York. And I didn't watch this. And I'm going to see if I can quickly find, maybe on YouTube I can find it. Jeff had Dorinda and Marge on his show with talking about the Blonde Ambition Tour. And the Blonde Ambition Tour is Dorinda and Marge decided to do like a very limited show, very much giving like Dos Amigas, right? Dorinda, let me see, and Marge. If I can't find it, then I'll just explain it. But I know it was just there. Okay, if I can't find it, I won't force it. But I know someone just posted it somewhere, so maybe I can find it. Okay. So the point is that in this video that I just saw last week, Jeff Lewis had Dorinda and Marge on his show. And during his live show with them, they were promoting this Blonde Ambition Tour. And they were only going to a few dates. And during the show, he was asking them, so who's moderating these shows? And they said, well, we have a few different moderators. They said, we have Dave Quinn and another guy, Peter Panos. I don't know who Peter Panos is. I know the name, but I don't really know who he is. Now, Dave Quinn, bless him, and I love Dave Quinn. Dave Quinn has been on my show before. I've known Dave for years and years. Dave is a writer for People magazine. Dave is the writer who broke Lindsay and Carl's engagement and Lindsay and Carl's breakup and Lindsay's baby. He's also the writer who broke Kyle and Mauricio's separation. He is a People magazine writer who breaks all the big ones. And he and Jeff Lewis have a feud, okay? He and Jeff Lewis have not liked each other for a long time. This is like a known thing. Now, when he had when Jeff Lewis asked Dorinda and Marge, which moderator do you like most? He basically said, I don't like Dave. Like Jeff was kind of pushing, I don't like Dave. And Marge and Dorinda were kind of going back and forth about who they didn't and who they did like. And Marge kind of answered for Dorinda. Well, she doesn't really like da 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 da. And they went back and forth, and they were kind of like having this weird tension live on the radio. Where Marge was like, I'm sorry, Dorinda was like, no, I mean, it's not that I don't like the way he did it. It's just I wanted to move the crowd along because I felt like we were getting stuck and I was reading the room and the audience and it just wasn't working. That segment wasn't working. And I felt like we had to end up and we had to get to the next step and we had to get to the question and answer and da 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 da. And then at that moment, Jeff was like, "Well, so you don't like him. You know, Jeff, he's kind of like he gets in there. Oh, so you don't like him. So you're saying you do like him." Anyway, they get to commercial and Jeff Lewis's team, they film every single commercial break. And it's a known thing. If you do Jeff's show, every commercial break will be on camera. So you can find the clip if you have the Sirius app. I'm not doing this right now unless it just popped up in my inbox somehow and I just had it. There's no way I'm going to be able to find it. But I'm searching really fast, but I don't think I'm ever going to be able to find it really fast. But the point is that it was, oh, is there a world that I find it? I don't think I'm going to find it. Okay. The point is that, during the commercial break, they kind of go back and forth. And then they say, Dorinda goes to Marge, and Dorinda's a little snappy. We know Dorinda, okay? We've watched her on this show for years. Dorinda goes to Marge, and she's like, "Don't do that. I don't like that you do that. Don't ever answer for me." And Marge is like, "I didn't answer for you. It wasn't that bad." And Dorinda's like, "Yes, you did. And I didn't like how you did this." And Jeff was kind of saying, No, I didn't do that. I don't think it was that bad. And I feel like it really wasn't that bad. And it clearly was that bad. And then you could see Marge in the video. She's sitting there like, mhm. And it was obviously tension. And it's going to be tension for Dave. And it was going to be tension for Peter, who was listening because clearly one of them doesn't like one of them and whatever. And there you go. A few days later, the tour is canceled. So today on Jeff Lewis's show, it gets brought up. And Jeff says, I think I had a piece in why it was canceled because a caller called in about it. And Crystal says, in the smartest, most intuitive thing Crystal has said ever on the show or ever, said, Jeff Lewis Live is where friendships go to die. And that really should be his tagline. If you want to be on Jeff Lewis Live, just know that you'll walk in here as my bestie and you will walk out of here and you will lose a friend, whether it's me, whether it's someone you will appear on the show with, whether it's a producer on the show, whether it's someone that you just kind of know, like maybe it'll be your best friend from childhood. Like you will lose a friend being on Jeff Lewis Live. Something will happen in your life, in your personal life. Jeff Lewis Live is the source of all friendships dying in some capacity. It is so intuitive. It is so smart. Jeff laughed. Everyone laughed. But when I heard her say that, I was like, Crystal Minkoff, golf claps. Like you win awards. I have a mutual friend, a girl that I work out with every single morning, and she's Crystal Minkoff's best friend. And I literally am sending a text to her right after the show. And I'm going to say, you must tell Crystal right now that I think she solved Jeff Lewis's mystery. Jeff Lewis show is where friendships go to die. Because Marge and Dorinda went on Jeff Lewis to promote their show. They went on Page 6. They went on all these different places, but Jeff Lewis's show broke up the tour. It killed the tour, the world tour. Justin Timberlake got a DUI and he still went on tour. It's too funny. I just think it's hysterical. I mean, it's horrible, but it's hysterical because he asked these questions. Had he not asked, like, who's your favorite moderator, it would have never been a problem. Who asks those questions? Jeff Lewis. He wants drama. Oh, only Jeff. Only Jeff. And he laughs his way through it. It's just too good. I mean, listen, it's so problematic and it's so funny the entire way through. Why is that? But I guess Marge and Dorinda kind of screwed themselves over because Marge, they shouldn't have answered. They should have been like, we love them both. They're so different. We love them both. You shouldn't pick your favorite. Beth says if you need to break up with someone, go on Jeff Lewis. That's a genius idea. Jeff should be. Remember Ryan Seacrest? If any of you guys grew up listening to Kiss FM, I don't know if that's like a national thing or just in LA, but here in LA, it was 102.7 Kiss FM. And we grew up with Ryan Seacrest. Before Ryan Seacrest, it was Rick Dees. Okay. That is a blast from the past. I don't think I've mentioned the words Rick Dees since the 90s. Ryan Seacrest had Ryan's Roses. And so what it was like once a week, someone would call in and say, I think my boyfriend's cheating on me. And we need to offer him a free dozen roses and see if he would buy roses for me or for this chick that I think he's cheating on me with. And then the woman would call and she'd be like, hi, this is Vanessa. And I'm calling from the floral store down the street. And I have a free dozen roses. And some idiot on the phone, and I still don't know if this is true or like if this was a fake thing or real, because some idiot was always like, oh, this is great. You're giving me free roses? Sure. I always thought to myself, are these guys this stupid? Because I'd be like, no, thanks. Like, bye. So these guys would always say, sure, I'll take these roses. And they always gave it to the other woman. Like 99% of the time, they would give it to the other woman. And then Ryan would be like, hey, dude, this is Ryan from Kiss FM. I got your girlfriend on the phone. And she'd be like, oh my God, Dominic, what are you doing? We have kids at home. And I would listen to this in like 9th grade, right? Driving to school with my mom. The question is, Jeff Lewis needs to be Ryan's Roses. Like, that's a genius move for Jeff. If flipping out doesn't work, Jeff needs to be the next like host of Cheaters. Don't you guys think? Jeff should be the next host of like the date. Honestly, To Catch a Predator. Like Chris Hansen, bye. It's a perfect segue for Jeff's life is To Catch a Predator. Gay edition. It's a genius move. Honestly. Like instead of Ryan's Roses, it's Jeff's, I don't know, Jeff's Martinis. He would have so much fun. He would have so much fun. Okay. Let's move on. So cute. Sarah Fraser just called me. What I did miss was telling you guys about Peter Madrigal because I just got a DM about it. I want to put Peter Madrigal. This is like said out of love, but I got a lot of DMs about Peter Madrigal's ponytail. Peter Madrigal has a ponytail, and I want to take him on like Queer Eye for the Straight Guy. We need to do something about Peter Madrigal's hair. Can someone help me? Do you want me to show you here? I mean, I put it on my stories. We have to do something about Peter Madrigal's hair. Like, if you watch Love is Blind, do you remember Ramses and his tail? His two tails off the side of his head? Todd, what should we do about Peter Madrigal's hair? He doesn't want to see it. It's real bad. We need to cut the ponytail. It's really a problem. Poor Peter. I mean, Peter was a stand-up man. Okay. Let's move on. Other stories. Speaking of hair, I thought this was a crazy story. So as we talked about earlier on in the week, sad news for Dave Coulier. Cut it out, right? Cut it out from Full House. Dave Coulier, Uncle Joey, the funny one, has just announced that he has cancer. So sad. We talked about it. I'm so devastated about this. Full House fan. Grew up with him. And usually when you find out that someone has cancer in your life and you really want to show solidarity and they have to shave their head and they have to, lose their hair. And this is so sad, right? This is a tough time in someone's life. And you want to show solidarity for them. We've seen the TikToks, we've seen the Reels, we've seen the YouTubes, we've seen the Facebook posts. This is not an easy time, right? What do you do if you just say your best friend has to shave their head because of cancer and they're going through chemo and they're losing their hair? And you want to show solidarity and you want to do something lovely for them. You go and you decide, I'm doing it with you. I'm shaving my hair. So John Stamos, who I love. Okay. Uncle Jesse, hottie. What did Uncle Jesse used to say? What was his thing? Oh, he had a word that he used to say, like a sentence on that show. Uncle Jesse used to say, like, Uncle Jesse was the hot one, right? John Stamos. And he decided to stand with Uncle Joey and like show him solidarity. Have mercy. Thank you. Have mercy, Becky, with Aunt Becky, right? So he decided to be there for Joey and show support by showing up to help Joey or to help Dave shave his head with a bald cap on. Do you believe me? Let me show you pictures. When I tell you, I was shocked by this. He didn't shave his own head. He came with a bald cap. Now, at what point do we say to ourselves, is this a kind gesture or is this a gesture that shows hair is that important to me and hair is that important to a body and a person that I can't even shave my head for like to show you how important and how like you know how not a big deal it is to shave a head. I can't even do it for that reason. What the hell, you guys? It's better almost not to shave your head and not to show up and be like, I'm going to shave my head. This is almost worse. In my thing, in my mind, I think it's almost better just to be like, I love you and I'm going to be here with you and hug you and like help you through it than to show up with a bald cap saying, my hair is so important to me that I can't shave my head. But I'm going to pretend that I shave my head by putting on a temporary bald cap that I can take off tonight and still have my hair. Nothing about this makes sense. So comments, of course, are very angry, right? Like comments in the any sort of breast cancer or cancer survivor is feeling very, very like confused by this. Some woman said, I'm sorry, as a breast cancer survivor, this is not support. This is a joke. You should be ashamed of yourself. That's not how you support us. Someone says, the days when I didn't know what to do to be supportive from a distance, but shave my head, so hard to know what to do for those we love who are sick. Be there. That's it. Just be there. Why the bald cap? You could have supported your friend without pretending to shave your head. If my friend did this to me, I would be so offended. I mean, look at me with my fake bald head that I can take off whenever I want. Someone else says, that's not solidarity. You didn't actually shave your head. You should have just posted that you were there with him without the insult. It is a very, very, very strange choice. And even if it's kind of like an inside joke, I think it sends a really strange message to any cancer survivor out there. And you know me, I'm not someone that's going to get easily offended by things like this. I just think it's so performative. It's a performative move of like charity. I'm there for my friend. But it's so you end up doing the most opposite thing, which is offending anyone. It's like giving the move of I don't know, I can't even explain what it is. Um oh, a lot of you guys think that maybe he has plugs and he can't shave his plugs. Well, then don't even pretend to shave your head. If you have hair plugs and you can't even pretend to shave your head, then just be there holding his hand or don't even go and take pictures of him while he's shaving his head. It's It's strange. Well, Dina says, I think far too many people are reading into this far too much. He's a prankster. Maybe he and Dave had a talk and Dave didn't want him to do it. Well, then let's see. Did they talk about it? Did they promote it? Did they have a conversation about it? Because if they did, well, let's see what they say about it. Because if it's some big joke about it, then I guess we would know about it. It's interesting. It's a very strange, strange choice. I just couldn't believe it. I was like, oh, bad move, bad move. In this day and age, right? With so many people struggling with cancer. Okay. Or another conversation. What are your thoughts about Wicked coming out? I am so excited. I am so excited about Wicked coming out. I cannot wait for Wicked. I am a huge Wicked fan. I love the movie. I mean, I love the musical, of course. I've seen it multiple times. I love the soundtrack. I am such a Wicked, like, lover. I've seen it multiple times with different casts, and I believe it should be good. However, is anyone else questioning all this weird, strange press around Cynthia Erivo that you're seeing? Is anyone else seeing this weird press around Cynthia, who's playing Elphaba in the world? So obviously, Ariana Grande started off with some crazy, crazy bad press because of her cheating on her boyfriend or husband at the time. I don't remember if she was married. And then, of course, Ethan Slater, who's in the movie as well, cheated on his wife and they had a little baby. And now they're still together. So Ethan ended up leaving his wife and little baby with Ariana. And now they're together and they are still together. And everyone's just kind of moved on from it. Right. And Ariana's still this perfect darling in the press. Okay, fine. No problem. Cynthia plays Elphaba. Cynthia is incredibly talented. I don't know that much about her Broadway past and her theater past, her world and her repertoire. She has the most incredible voice. If you've heard her sing, she is like so talented. But the first thing that I heard about her press-wise was when she jumped all over this fan designed poster. Did you guys hear about this? So Cynthia, the poster of Wicked is like the famous poster of Wicked. Wicked original poster is a picture. It's a drawing. Okay. It looks like this. If you see it, it looks like this. It's a drawing. It's like an animation basically of this girl of Elphaba with like a little bit of a smirk. You can't see her eyes. You see the side of Glinda kind of whispering into her face. That is the original poster when they're on when they're in the musical. Okay, that was like the original. Now, when they came out with the Wicked movie poster, this is what they came out with. And people, this is what they came out with. It's kind of hard to see, but you see Cynthia's entire face, Elphaba's entire face, and you see kind of Ariana's face. And Cynthia, or I should say Elphaba's face, does not look smiley, which she does in the original. She doesn't look smiley. She doesn't have that same kind of smirk. You see all of her eyes, and she's giving a little bit more of an angrier look than she does in the original poster. So what happened was the fans were getting a little bit more the fans were a little disappointed when they originally saw the movie poster. They felt like a little bit let down because there are some serious stands, right? The fans were really upset about the poster. They were feeling like, oh man, they've been like holding out for this movie for years and years and years. Like Wicked has been around for 20 years. So they were like, this is not the poster. It had nothing to do with Cynthia, by the way. It had to do with the actual poster of the movie. So this is more like a studio issue. So the fan poster of Wicked, a lot of fans kind of created these posters, just like user generated poster. And they created this poster that, okay, here's a better way to see. I'll show you guys right here. This is an interesting story. It's kind of crazy what happened. So this was the original poster. You can see it better in this picture right here. And the fans are a little bit bummed, okay? So this is their Broadway poster and here's the movie poster. You can tell the big difference and it's kind of like sad. Like if you're a big fan. So then a fan created user generative AI and created this picture, which is a little bit they covered more of Ariana's face and they covered more of Cynthia's face to create more of a similarity from the original movie poster to like a mix, I should say, of the original poster and the movie poster. And it's actually a really cool picture, in my opinion. This feels more exactly what it should have looked like because it has a little bit of that smirk. It's like exactly what I think it should have been, to be honest, in my opinion. And Cynthia saw this, right? So this image came out on X. Like a fan created this. It was a fan edit from this to this. And Cynthia saw this, posted it on her Instagram story on October 16th, and wrote this. She said, "This is the wildest, most offensive thing I have ever seen, equal to that awful AI of us fighting, equal to people posing the question, is your blank green? None of this is funny. None of it is cute. It degrades me. It degrades us. Without words, we communicate with our eyes, and to hide my eyes is to erase me. I am a real life human being who chose to look right down the barrel of the camera to you, the viewer, because without words, we communicate with our eyes. Our poster is an homage, not an imitation. To edit my face and hide my eyes is to erase me, and that is just deeply hurtful." Whoa. And the fans did this out of love. You have to understand, the fans never did this to erase anyone. I think the fans are huge fans of Cynthia as Elphaba. Like, she is insanely talented. So this was like really shocking. And according to this article on the direct.com, it says Erivo's response to the edits has not been met well by fans. A certain contingent of social media users voiced their dismay at Erivo's comments, claiming that to call the movie poster a slight change from the Broadway original would be an understatement. This comes as fans have taken the movie poster and run with it, not just creating fan edits of the still image, but at times other AIs. And Ariana also got in on the poster controversy action, sharing her thoughts, saying, "I find AI so conflicting and troublesome, something that is so much bigger than us." Um, and then she said, "I have so much respect for my sister Cynthia and I love her so much." Da 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 da. So I guess a lot of people were taking AI out of control and using this as like so many different things. But I personally thought that this was like an in my opinion, for what it was. I thought it was an overreaction. Like, it wasn't an offensive picture. I felt like it was really, really taken so out of line because I thought it was a beautiful rendition of a picture. I didn't think it was like it was done with like a harsh tone. I didn't think it was rude. I understand if Cynthia felt that way and she felt like, but she was literally mimicking the original poster. It didn't feel in any way, yeah, the fan took it down, felt really, really bad, and was not trying to offend her. But since then, and I don't know if this is a press take or if this is real, but like all I see is like negative press around Cynthia. So just now, before I started the show, I'm like, I'm so excited about Wicked, but I keep seeing all this negative press. Like, I guess Cynthia was on Dax Shepard's show. Um, Armchair Expert. I don't know if it's out today. And the article, literally, the headline is Cynthia Erivo. And I hope I'm saying it right. If it's Erivo or Erivo, I can't remember. Cynthia claps back after Dax Shepard asks how she wipes with her long nails. That's the headline on the Daily Mail article. I'm sure she talked about 200 other things, but that's the headline that they're taking for her Armchair Expert interview. It says Cynthia Erivo says she's annoyed by questions about her long nails after Dax Shepard asks a really crazy and inappropriate question. "When you're wiping your butt," Shepard began after Cynthia interjected, "I knew you would ask that question. My answer is that nobody uses just their fingers to wipe their backside. You use tissue, correct? And you wipe." Shepard continued to probe the star and how she holds the toilet paper in her hand and whether she uses the tips of her fingernails. I'm looking at my fingers just trying to picture how you wipe your butt and wondering how the hell. Now, at the same time, what Asif is saying in the comments, it's true. It's getting a little bit like she's a little bit too serious and can't take any jokes. And there is a little bit of a level of we do have to kind of almost lighten up in the comments, like in not in the comments, but like you're hanging out with Dax Shepard in his attic. And if he's and I have to listen to the interview because maybe it was said all with jokes and they're just trying to make her out to be this like really sensitive person. So if you guys listen to the interview, did he ask like with a laugh and did she answer with a laugh? Sometimes these headlines take it out of context. But she says Cynthia said she uses pads of the fingers before adding, I'm a functional adult. And then said, after Shepard asked if she was offended by the question, Cynthia said, I'm annoyed by it. I'm like, come on, guys, but I get it. But it's also like I'm a functioning adult and I never walked around smelling like, She added, here's the thing. There are people who do not have nails who need to check how they're wiping. Cynthia also joked that other people have asked how she gets anything done with her nails. And I'm like, I mean, I'm here, I'm dressed. The star's eye-catching nails have been front and center during her tour to promote Wicked, et cetera, et cetera. So let's listen. I mean, seriously, her nails are wild, though. Have you guys seen pictures? It's actually really, really unreal how she's able to, like, I'm always shocked how people can do that because my nails are not even that long and I have a hard time typing. It's very, like, impressive how some people can do this. If you guys haven't seen her nails, they're so long and they're so decorative. So I'm actually curious how she is, like, in the interview. I'm gonna try to listen to it and I'll follow up tomorrow. I thought it was an interesting clickbaity headline. Okay. But I'm definitely um interested with uh hearing the interview. Okay. Final story. We're gonna end on a little ditty. Do a little ditty about Diddy. Oh, and then Lori says, I thought we were going to talk about them crying every day. Yes, it's a lot of emotions on that Wicked cast tour. I'm ready for Wicked to come into theaters. Like, I feel like I've been on the Wicked press tour since the beginning of Lindsay Hubbard's pregnancy, right? Literally, Lindsay Hubbard's pregnancy and the Wicked press tour have been in just as long. By the way, before I get into Diddy, have you subscribed? 450 of you guys here live. Have all of you guys subscribed? I'm so close to going up to the next step. Okay, let's move on. Diddy. We haven't talked about Diddy for a while because Diddy is disgusting, as Tamara would like to say, and I stand by that. I did have a little text messaging back and forth with a girlfriend of mine who used to work in the music industry. She does not work in the music industry anymore, but she is in the Diddy hole. She loves following Emily D. Baker. She's in it. She's like very obsessed. And she said, look, when I used to work in the music industry, I heard some crazy shit. I think half the people know all kinds of things and half the people it's just way over their head and they don't know. But I did see this one article about Diddy and it's about new footage emerging from his wild birthday party for Meek Mill. Meek Mill is, I believe, a music producer. Rapper. Sorry. Meek Mill is a rapper. And this was his 27th birthday party. And the year was 2014. So 10 years ago. There's footage of this wild 27th birthday party. I will not be showing you footage because I would like to continue to stay as a monetizing platform here on YouTube. But inside Diddy's wild birthday party for Meek Mill, where guests ate sushi off a naked girl's body. Sorry. Body and party. Which, by the way, lots of people out there do this. I've watched Sex in the City. I saw Richard eating sushi off Samantha's body. We've seen this at parties. We've seen this like on movies. We've seen this on TV shows. I don't think that's the craziest thing. There's a lot of things. This was like a trend a few years back where you could hire these women to put like big bamboo leaves on their body. Should we do that at DoserCon, by the way? Should we do that at DoserCon where we put big, like naked ladies and just put, sushi on them? Let's just do it. Let's get ourselves in Daily Mail. Whoa, naked ladies and sushi at DoserCon. So that's not the craziest thing about it. What is crazy is it said Sean Diddy Combs spared no expense to throw his friend, rapper Meek Mill, a blowout 27th birthday party, and Daily Mail has exclusive video. And what was left behind? Cocaine, half-empty bottle of liquor. That's not that shocking. Used condoms, vom, and blood-stained bedding, vom, was evidence of just how debauched the event was. The bedrooms the following day were disgusting. Property manager Jason Haight told Daily Mail there were broken bottles of alcohol, used condoms, blood on the bedding, sorry you guys, powder, razor blades by the hundreds, lubricant on the dressers, and marble floors. I found panties. Were they HONEYLOVE? Bras, and even 2 iPhones in the bushes behind the bowling alley. Exotic dancers in masks, curvaceous women in tiny bras, and the main event, a naked woman served up as a sushi platter, appear in the video. The day-long party, held on May 3rd, 2014, cost Diddy a whopping $25,000 in rent alone for the Parisian palace. There was video footage of the party, and it shows partygoers arriving in droves. Notable faces include Vine star turned comedian King Bach, rappers French Montana. Remember French Montana and Khloe Kardashian dated forever? All these mother effers know everything, you guys. Lil Durk, don't know who that is, and other artists claiming to be part of Mill's record label Dream Chasers Records. The mansion was crowded with celebrities shuffling through the mass of people accompanied by their entourages of bodyguards and trophy women. Lingerie-clad dancers performed provocatively on set-up stages, and other curvaceous, scantily dressed women posed around the various rappers for photos. In one scene, a girl was laid out on a table naked, with only a tiny piece of clear vinyl covering the front of her body, and rows of sushi were okay, we get it. They ate sushi off her body. There's a lot of stories about different things, but clearly it was a wild party full of drugs, sex, and sushi. Lots of sushi. And it was probably just like a 24-hour, F fest. And by F, I don't mean, I don't mean like, what's a word about F that's not, I don't mean flowers. They partied. They partied their ass off. Now, I know that right now Diddy is still in jail, obviously. It was just Kim Porter's birthday. So her kids, sent a birthday, kind of like a birthday message towards her. His kids are just sitting around and just kind of waiting for the lawyers or waiting for the trial date. Nothing is really happening, and we're just waiting to see what's going to happen. I mean, there's not really any new news. What's shitty about all this, to be honest, and I hate to say it, but what's shitty about this is I don't think we're going to get any names. I think what I've heard from like Dumois and from different people is the names of the Diddy stuff are probably going to be completely MIA, like they're never going to come out. I think Hush Money is come and is going to completely like hide all of the ability for any of us to get any of the names. I think any name that is involved has paid off in NDAs. I really do. I don't think we're going to ever hear anything. And that's just unfortunately where we are. It's going to be like an Epstein situation all over again. I would like to believe it's to be different, but I just don't see it happening like that. Now, speaking of hush money, that's not really necessarily the same thing, but Shannon and John, I was going to say Shannon and John Beador. Shannon Beador and John Janssen. I left this as the last story. Josh, Josh said, whatever happened to Scrabble? Yeah, what happened to a good old Scattergories party? A little wine, a little Scattergories, maybe bring out Taboo. That's what we're doing at DoserCon. It's going to be Twister. Maybe a little karaoke. Who needs sex, drugs, and rock and roll? Well, maybe a little rock and roll. Okay, so Shannon Beador and John Janssen have settled their court argument or their lawsuit, and no one really knows the details, which is why it's really a non-story. All we know is that most likely it was settled for $70,000. Shannon most likely paid $70,000 to John Janssen because that's the last number that we knew it to be. Where is it going to end? Most likely she signed for a non-disparagement agreement, so an NDA. She is no longer allowed to talk about him, and so much so that he is also no longer allowed to talk about her. This is the best case scenario. She is no longer going to be able to have to worry about any of these videos to be released. He can't go into the press and just, admonish her, just like Terry and Heather Dubrow. But that also means that she can't say anything bad about him anymore, and it's done and done. How is this going to mean for future seasons of Real Housewives of OC? I don't know how this is going to work. If Alexis Bellino comes back and John Janssen is going to also come back because they're still together, are we going to have a wedding season? Are we going to be able to have to see this? I just don't know how we're going to have another season of a Shannon and Alexis season together. In my opinion, the smart thing for Real Housewives to do, if they come back with any of them, it's Shannon. I don't see Alexis coming back on the show. I just don't. I don't think the audience wants it. I don't think the audience cares. I don't think the audience wants another season of what we already saw. I don't think the audience is willing to see another side of Alexis Bellino. I don't think the audience is wanting to see like a comeback season for Alexis Bellino. I don't think we want to see a recap or like a redo of another Alexis and John Janssen season. We're not willing to like see the good side of Alexis and Johnny J. I don't think it's going to work. I think the only way that we see any of the three of them again is to leave Alexis and John at home and bring back Shannon and see Shannon in a different light, maybe post the John and Alexis chapter and just see Shannon, in like a dating zone or doing something else. It doesn't make any sense for Alexis and John to come back with Shannon. And I just don't think I don't think it will ever happen that they say goodbye to Shannon and bring Alexis and John. That's cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs on Bravo's part. So in my opinion, I think the whole cast comes back without Alexis and John EJ, John EJ, and maybe they bring in one new person, like, I don't know, maybe they do a Gretchen or something like that. That would be kind of fun. I think we all agree that we can't have another Alexis. And yeah, it'll be interesting to see how it all goes down. Thank you guys so much for a fantabulous episode of Daily Dose of Donna. Exhaustion episode. Happy birthday, Josh. If anyone is going to be here tomorrow, no, you guys are all here. What do you mean if anyone's going to be here tomorrow? Please, you guys are all here tomorrow. I will see you guys tomorrow on Wednesday. We will be covering the new episode of Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. How excited are you guys for Real Housewives of Beverly Hills tomorrow? I am literally thrilled beyond belief. I'm so excited. Cannot wait. And oh, I just got a text. I have a mammogram tomorrow afternoon. So schedule your mammograms, you guys. And we will be recapping Beverly Hills and Roni tomorrow. And that's it. I love you guys. Thank you for subscribing. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.